What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So Pokemon Sword and Shield hype season is officially in full swing, and fans from all across the world are chomping at the bit for any type of new information that they can get their hands on. While we haven't heard any more information on the game since their initial reveal back in February, the Pokemon Company actually did a lot of hinting at the games prior to their official reveal, some of which went completely unnoticed by fans. And that is exactly what we're going to be looking at today. Today we are going to be looking at 5 hints to Pokemon Sword and Shield that were made before the official announcement of the game that basically revealed the game before we even knew what we were getting. Now, some of these were bigger hints that fans were able to catch on to and then subsequently speculated about in the months leading up to the reveal, but others were a little more subtle, a little more under the radar, and a couple fans didn't even really notice as legitimate hints. But now that we know what we know, it's easy to go back and take a look at these things and realize that Game Freak was trying to throw us a little bone and we had no idea at the time. So with all of that being said, why don't we go ahead and take a look at 5 major Pokemon Sword and Shield hints that basically revealed the game before the game was even revealed. Okay, so this first one comes directly from the main man himself, Junichi Masuda. Now, Masuda has been known to kind of tease things from time to time, so people like to keep a close eye on his Twitter to see if he's going to give anything away, but even still, some things kind of slip underneath the cracks, and at the very least, he is very subtle about what he hints, so it's kind of hard to decipher whether or not what he is tweeting is a legitimate hint or not. With that said, about 2 weeks before the official reveal of the games, Masuda tweeted out a screenshot of a Weedle that he caught in Pokemon Go, and he said something along the lines of, "It's been a while since I caught a Weedle," and overall it looked like a really normal, unsuspecting type of tweet. But because Masuda is known for teasing different things from time to time, fans dug into this tweet and actually found out that this could have been a major hint towards the reveal of Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you look at the CP of this particular Weedle, it's at 199, and Pokemon number 199 is, as a matter of fact, Slowking, but it gets even better because if you look at the weight of this particular Pokemon, it is 4.16 kilograms, and the 416th Pokemon in the Pokedex is Vespiquen. And then finally, the length of this particular Weedle is 0.33 meters. And if you look up who is the 33rd Pokemon in the Pokedex, that would be Nidorino, who evolves into Nidoking. So all 3 of these Pokemon that can be correlated back to this tweet all have King and Queen royal aesthetics to them, which was a big deal at the time because shortly before the reveal of Pokemon Sword and Shield, it was rumored that the title of the games were going to be called King and Queen. In addition to that, there were also a lot of rumors at the time floating around that the region of Pokemon Sword and Shield would be based on the UK, which eventually came true, and obviously that ties into King and Queens as well. So all of this, even though it's coming from a very unsuspecting tweet, just seems like it's way too coincidental to just be a coincidence. If I had to guess, given the way Masuda likes to tease new information in this way, I would say that this is definitely intentional on his part, especially because it's been reported, not confirmed as far as I could find though, that the original name for Pokemon Sword and Shield was going to be Pokemon King and Queen before Game Freak decided to change their names to Sword and Shield to avoid the gender segmentation that would occur with names like King and Queen. I really love how Game Freak and Masuda specifically give us these cryptic kind of hints that we have to decipher to really uncover for ourselves, and it'll be interesting to see if these particular Pokemon have any extra meaning to them in the official games. Up next, why don't we talk about a more infamous and classic one, and that would of course be the tale of the mysterious map found in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. All throughout the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games, you can see a map all throughout the different houses and towns and buildings of the region that show a map that looks like a regional map in the Pokemon world, but it does not resemble any of the regions that we have seen up to this point. People caught on to this very quickly and speculated that this was indeed a hint for the next generation of Pokemon. And then, because Pokemon like to base their regions on real-world locations, started looking at different countries of the world to see what country potentially resembled the shape of this mysterious region. Many people, including myself, found out that this looked like the UK, just kind of tilted on its side, and even though not everyone subscribed to the idea that this resembled the UK and was a hint for Generation 8, I'm looking at you, Birdkeeper Toby, I personally believe that this absolutely 100% was a hint for Sword and Shield. The reason I believe this, even though we now know that the Galar region does not look anything like this map in Let's Go, is because it actually falls right into the type of hinting that Game Freak likes to do. Like we said with the Masuda hint previously, oftentimes they like to give us hints to new information in very subtle and cryptic ways. So what better way to give us a cryptic hint at what the region of the next games is going to be than give us a region map that resembles what the region is actually based on, but does not look like what the actual region looks like at the same time. That way they are giving us fuel to our speculation fire in terms of trying to decipher what the region of the next games is going to be based on and if this is a hint, but at the same time they are not giving actual legitimate details away about the next region because obviously it does not resemble the actual shape. So really it is a best of both worlds type of scenario where on the one hand they get to give us a hint about the next Pokemon game and we get to speculate about it, but on the other hand, they're not really giving us anything concrete or factual that's going to spoil the game, and they kind of give us this middle ground of a actual map of a UK-based region that isn't the actual UK-based region that we're getting in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and if this is indeed the case, which I believe it is, it's an ingenious way of hinting at new games, and hopefully we get some kind of confirmation in the future that this was indeed a sign of things to come. Up next, why don't we take a look at another Junichi Masuda tweet, and honestly, this hint has got to be the best hint of all, because this was a direct, factual hint of Pokemon Sword and Shield that was made all the way back in October, and literally no one noticed at the time. That's because, in classic Junichi Masuda fashion, the hint was very cryptic and very subtle, and we as fans had no way of knowing whatsoever that it was a hint because of how subtle it was at the time. All the way back on October 5th of 2018, Masuda tweeted a picture of himself holding up what looks to be some kind of mat or mattress in one hand and a tripod in the other, representing a makeshift sword and shield. And this is obviously, knowing what we know now, a direct hint to the title of the games, but since we had no idea what to expect at that time, there is no way that we could have known, even though he was practically telling us the title of the game. And it's honestly just an ingenious and hilarious thing to see, given that it was all the way back in October, a whopping 4 months before the games were officially revealed. This really just goes to show that you have got to pay attention to this man on Twitter, and basically any one of his tweets could very well be a hint at what's going to come for the future of Pokemon. Now, this next one is another one of the bigger hints that people caught on to that really gave some weight to the idea that we could be getting a UK region, and that comes from the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime. Now, I personally do not follow the Sun and Moon anime, so I'm not exactly sure which episode this is from, but in one of the episodes, Ash is watching a movie on TV, and in one of the scenes of this movie, there is a backdrop that heavily resembles the streets of London. Now, once again, this episode aired a few months before the official reveal of the new games, and once people caught on to it, the idea of possibly getting a region based on the UK in the next generation really started to pick up some steam, and as we all know now, that indeed was proven to be true, and this was proven to be a legitimate hint of things to come in the next several months. And it's just crazy to see Game Freak give us such a big hint like this in their flagship TV show, no less, but also do it in a very, once again, subtle way that we have to kind of pick out and decipher as fans in order to really know that it's actually a hint. And last but not least, we have the one hint in this video that isn't really quite clear enough as to whether or not it is legitimately a hint, but I personally believe it absolutely is, so I decided to include it in the video anyway. I discussed this topic in a previous video as well, but in the Pokemon Power of Us movie, many people quickly caught on to the fact when we got some early trailers for that movie that Ash was wearing a new jacket, and on the collar of his jacket there was a very distinctive pattern that actually perfectly resembled the flag of Spain. Many people took this as a hint that we could be getting a region based on Spain for Generation 8, once again because we know that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company like to hint at things in this way, but obviously we ended up getting a region based on the UK. So it turns out that this wasn't actually a hint at all, right? Well, in the light of the information we know now, I personally believe that this is still a hint, although a very subtle one, as to what was going to come in the eventual reveal of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Because of course, in the reveal of Sword and Shield, we found out that the name of the new region we were going to get to explore was Galar, and this actually ended up being the key that links these two things together. And this is because, believe it or not, there is actually a town in Spain that is literally named Galar, spelled the exact same way as the Pokemon region. And given the fact that we know that Game Freak does extensive research in creating their Pokemon games, especially when it comes to creating new regions or new Pokemon designs, there is not a doubt in my mind that they were fully aware of this town in Spain, especially when it came to giving a name to their new Pokemon region. So because of this, and because of the fact that we have evidence of a connection to Spain, or a possible connection in the latest Pokemon movie, I don't think these two incidents are completely independent of one another, and in fact, I believe this subtle nod and this subtle accent to Ash's design in this movie is actually a hint at what the name of the next region in the next Pokemon games is going to be. But once again, it's the kind of hint that you really have no way of deciphering until you actually get an official announcement and get more information. So it falls right in line with the type of hint that we can expect to see and that we do see from the Pokemon Company as well. And that is exactly why I believe this was indeed a hint to Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it was a hint that was actually made over 6 months before the games were officially announced. And there we have it, everybody. Those were 5 amazing hints to Pokemon Sword and Shield that were all made well before the games even came out. Now, because Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have such a history of hinting new information and announcements and games in this way, and they do it so often, it makes Pokemon one of the best video game franchises out there to follow in terms of what's going on and what's going to happen in the future, because Game Freak is always leaving us little breadcrumbs in terms of finding out what's going to happen next. If you guys enjoyed the video though, be sure to give it a like because it really helps out, and let me know down in the comments below if you caught on to any of these hints, or maybe there's another hint that you suspect that no one else is talking about. Also, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more new Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And finally, if you enjoyed the channel and you want to support outside of just watching videos, consider checking me out on Spotify and listening to some of my Pokemon remixes, because that's the easiest way to directly support the channel, and it does directly support the future production of future videos and just helps to sustain the channel in general, and it is always sincerely appreciated. With all of that being said though, I will be back on Tuesday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you know I love you all, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.